to try and support free culture artists. If you didn't catch that, I'm Mike Sheldon, and I'll be talking about GNU FM. So firstly, a bit of clarification on the difference between GNU FM and Libre FM. Basically, the software we've been developing is GNU FM, and our own personal installation of it is Libre FM with our own branding. And on Libre FM, we have a specific focus of trying to promote free culture artists, which is artists who license their work under fairly permissive licenses. But if you install GNU FM yourself, you'll get a fairly generic-looking site like this, which you can then customize to be suitable for your own music community. And on that, you can use music licensed however is most suitable for you. So first off, what GNU FM can actually do. Firstly, it can actually keep track of your listening statistics. Wherever possible, we've tried to keep compatibility with the Last.fm APIs, which means there's already a whole host of applications that can submit your listening statistics to Libre FM or to other GNU FM installations. And with those statistics, we can make various pretty graphs about your listening habits. So we can tell you, for example, which artists you listen to the most, or which tracks you like the most, or on what days you're listening to a lot of music versus other days. And collecting statistics and generating graphs is all very interesting, but for me personally, the most interesting aspect is finding new music. And there's a wide range of different ways that we can do that, most of which focus around our radio streams. On the site, we have a HTML5-based audio player, which will work in any modern browser with Ogg Vorbis support. But you can also tune in via various desktop and mobile clients. And that radio player can pick up streams from a number of different sources. The radio stations are all personalized to you specifically. You can either get stations which purely play things which you've already told us that you loved, or based on those things that you've told us you like, we can recommend new music to you. That sort of recommendation is all based on user-supplied tag data, but we also have more social-based recommendation system through the neighborhood radio. The way a musical neighborhood works is we look for all of the people who love the same tracks as you and then recommend to you other tracks that they've loved. So they act as a social filter for you on our whole music database. And we have at present about 83,000 streamable tracks from around 7,500 artists. We can also recommend similar artists who are similar to either free artists, or non-free artists. So if you've never heard any free culture music before, but you know what sort of music you like, you can still get recommendations from us. And we also have my personal favorite station, the Community Loved station, which plays any tracks that anyone in the entire community have said that they loved. And it plays the most popular ones most frequently. So you get a wide selection of really great music from very different genres, which is all great for helping artists find maybe new audiences and attract new listeners, but we also want to try and help artists more directly financially. So throughout the site, we've tried to integrate Flatter. Flatter's a micro-donation service which allows you to specify a certain amount of money that you'd like to spend each month, and at the end of that month, that money is divided up between all of the people that you've flattered during that month. To flatter someone, you simply click a little button like this one. And as I say, this is integrated throughout the site. So for any artists who have Flatter accounts, you'll see these buttons on their artist pages, on their track pages, but also when you're listening to the radio streams and a flatterable artist comes on the radio, we will automatically show you a Flatter button for them. So you can flatter artists instantly as you hear something that you like. And we also make this information available through our API, so desktop clients, mobile clients can all integrate the same sort of facilities to help you tip artists that you really like. And as I've said, we try and maintain compatibility with Last.fm wherever possible. But beyond just being compatible with them, we can also interoperate with them. So if you've already got a Last.fm account, you don't need to give that up to move over to Libre.fm or to any other GNU-FM installation. You can continue using your Last.fm account alongside Libre.fm. We can pass along your listening statistics to them if your client only supports submitting to one server, and we can import and export your listening history either from Last.fm or to or from other GNU-FM installations. So you're entirely free to move around within the community of GNU-FM installations. So being based on the Last.fm protocols, there's already around 50 clients that are confirmed to work with Libre.fm, either out of the box or via some minor client-side hacks. That's purely for submitting your listening statistics. There's also a number of clients, such as GNOME's Rhythmbox media player, which can also tune into our radio streams, and some mobile clients that do that. We have one for the Nokia N9, LibreDroid for the Android phones, and Vagaloom for Nokia N900s and general desktop Linux as well. It's not just mobile and desktop clients that can interact with us. Other websites can interact as well. So for example, here we have a site called Listener, which asks Libre.fm what you're currently listening to, and then goes away and searches for the lyrics for that song. So you can sing along at home if you want to. And there's also Guitarist, which does a similar job, but looks for guitar tabs. In the near future, we have a number of big improvements we have planned. One of these is event support. Whilst it's nice being able to use Flatter to support artists online, it's even better to actually get people out there to live free culture performances. And to do that, we're able to give notifications of when one of your favorite artists is performing somewhere near you. As I said before, our current recommendations are mostly based around tag data, which works fairly well, but it has some limitations. For example, two tracks might both be tagged as being folk music and guitar music, but could actually sound very different. So we've been looking into using Marseilles, which is free software for music information retrieval, which allows us to actually extract musical features from the raw audio data itself and use that in combination with our track data to help us provide even better recommendations. This is quite a big one and something we've had planned from the beginning of the project, which is federation between multiple GNU-FM installations. So, for example, I mostly submit all of my statistics to Libre.fm, but in the future, maybe in my hometown of Aberystwyth, we might want to set up a GNU-FM installation for promoting local Welsh music. Now, I wouldn't want to have to import all of my listening history to yet another server and send all of my listening statistics to Last.fm and Libre.fm and Aberystwyth FM and any other communities I join. So through this federation support, you can log into remote music communities and instantly get recommendations based on your listening history in your home community. So I can stay as being a Libre.fm user, but still make use of all of the features of GNU-FM in other places like Aberystwyth FM, or maybe a conference-specific one that might only last for a few days, such as FOSDEM FM or similar. Our current website design is based on the work of Pablo Lizardo, and I think it's really good, but the way in which people interact with the site has changed a bit since it was done. So Matt Lee's currently working with a Boston-based artist, Brendan Ruck, to come up with a new design, which will be rolling out fairly soon. And now onto the important slides, how you can actually help us. Firstly, by just using Libre.fm, you're helping us, because the more data we have, the happier we are. And included in that is tagging artists. Since our recommendations are heavily based on tags, the more tags and the more specific tags we have, the higher quality recommendations we can provide for people. This is especially true when it comes to non-free artists. At the moment, we have fairly good tag coverage for our free artists, but for our non-free artists, it's still quite sketchy. So we can only actually recommend new free artists based on non-free artists if those non-free artists have already been tagged. So it would really be useful if you've got 5 or 6 spare minutes to tag your 10 or 11 favorite artists. Then, of course, there's actually doing some coding on it. You could be working on GNU FM itself. It's a PHP-based project, so if you're a PHP developer, you should fit right in. Or you could be working on plugins for other clients. It would be really interesting to see radio support in more free software multimedia players. At the moment, the main one with support is just Rhythmbox. Our documentation at the moment is fairly developer-oriented. It would be nice to have someone fresh at the project who's not already really into the nitty-gritty details of it to have a look and try and write some nice, simple documentation for people wanting to actually set up their own GNU FM installations or to create their own themes for GNU FM. And on the topic of themes, we would like more themes in general, so we can ship with a wider selection that people can then customize from. We've recently made a number of improvements to our theming system, so if you have a reasonable amount of CSS and a bit of HTML knowledge, you should be able to create a theme for GNU FM. And of course, if you're an artist, send us your music, because the more music we have, the more people will be happy to listen to us. So if any of that's interested you, there's various ways you can get in touch with us. If you visit our developer website, you'll find various bits of documentation aimed at developers and links to our mailing list and such. We've got an IRC channel. We're all very friendly on there. And if you join that, we're happy to help you either getting started with development, or if you're just having problems getting to grips with LibreFM itself as a user, we'll happily help you to the best of our ability. And we have an Identica group on which a number of the developers post little updates as to what we're getting up to. Some users tell us what they're doing with the software and give us informal suggestions for the sorts of things that we could do to improve it from their perspective. So, and yes, visit LibreFM itself as well and have a play around there. I've got 2 minutes, I think, so maybe time for a question if anyone has any. Yep. Do you have any connection with Blue Shark? Pardon? Blue Shark, do you have any connection? No connection whatsoever. We do have a connection with Jamendo, who also focus on Creative Commons licensed works, although we're a bit more restrictive in terms of the licenses that we'll accept. But we do import artists from Jamendo, as well as allowing artists to join up directly with LibreFM. Any other questions? Yep. Oh.
FOSDEM is kind of a social network centered around music. It's got a lot of social functions. Does LibreFM or GNU FM also have those functions, or is it only for personal use of gathering statistics?
It will have. When we initially started, we did have some of those social functions as well, but we kind of shelved them to some extent because we wanted to get our federation support really there and really complete and build our social functionality on top of that so that you can have friends across multiple GNU FM installations. You can have groups that have people in various different GNU FM communities. So it will arrive, but after the federation support. And I think that's almost me out of time. So if you have any more questions or comments, feel free to grab hold of me throughout the rest of the day. I'll be wandering around. And thank you for listening.